Hey Kentucky, this is Mary Jo Perino. Tonight, the KHSAA votes to move ahead with fall sports for now. Kenny Payne has high praise for 2 incoming cats, and we'll hear why a big drop in child abuse reports isn't necessarily a good thing for the state. All that and more is next on Hey Kentucky. Welcome to Hey Kentucky, along with Jennifer Palumbo tonight, and we get to start with some good news, like football good news.
We sure could use some good news.
Yeah, I'll take it. Kentucky's high school sports leaders have come up with a potential plan for the fall, which includes moving forward with football and other sports. Today, the KHSAA voted to begin a 9-week high school football season on September 11th, a delay which eliminates 1 game from the regular season schedule, but all 5 rounds of the playoffs remain in place at this point. Other fall sports are set to begin practicing on August 24th. Cross country, volleyball, soccer, and field hockey will still be able to play 80% of their regular season games.
I think that we have to be sure that the message is clear that just because we don't play doesn't mean play isn't going on. And that's important because, frankly, I don't think we want to empower outside people to get third-party opportunities started. And I think certain decisions could lead to that.
The KHSAA board will meet again in mid-August to see where we are at that time. But Jennifer, this is a real positive step forward. People are going to test positive for the virus. It's just kind of how we handle it from there. But I really do want to see fall sports.
And it's already happening that the student athletes are testing positive. So the question is, how can they get them back on the field, get them back in their sports? And you know, for some of these student athletes, their sport is their only ticket to be able to go to college through scholarships. So it's really important that they at least have a chance to play their sports. And they're saying that basketball will be keeping a close eye on volleyball to see how the indoor sport does.
Absolutely. But listen, we don't have to go through the list, the laundry list of why extracurricular activities are good for kids. They just are. All right, as the number of COVID-19 cases rises across central Kentucky, Lexington is on pace to double its total in just 1 month. Yesterday, the city experienced its highest single-day spike since the pandemic began. And to make matters worse, contact tracing has led county health department officials to draw a conclusion they did not want to reach.
Right now, we're seeing people who are going out while they are sick with the symptoms, and they are risking spreading that to others. If you're showing any of the symptoms, stay home. If you are going out into public and you don't have any symptoms, wear your mask and stay away from other people.
Out-of-state beach vacations haven't helped either, but health workers say they understand that people are COVID-19 fatigued. And Jennifer, yes, we can all see that. Everyone's, I feel like, has kind of tried to go on some sort of vacation and tried to do it as responsibly as you can, because life just has been fatiguing lately.
I know. I said I wish I could go to the beach. I haven't been on a vacation yet, but hopefully I will be able to. But Lexington is closing in on 1,500 cases for July. That would be more than March, April, May, and June combined. So Lexington is definitely dealing with a big surge right now.
Yeah, it's undeniable. And Kentucky's surge in coronavirus cases has spurred a growing interest in parents to homeschool their kids. Folks with Louisville Homeschool say their Facebook group has seen a 400% jump since NTI was announced for several districts. The organization's executive director says she began homeschooling after she and her daughter experienced bullying at a Jefferson County public school. But the pandemic may prompt parents who are concerned about the stigma of homeschooling to reconsider it as a permanent option. State's requirements say parents must keep track of a student's progress and attendance. Students must clock 1,062 instructional hours and fulfill 185 days of schoolwork. And Jen, this doesn't surprise me. I figured the homeschooling numbers would go through the roof at this point.
Mm-hmm. And more power to the parents. If you have the patience and you can teach your children instead of them having to do NTI, that might be even better, because the benefit of being in class is the experience with the other students. They can't get that, so I say good luck if parents can do it.
I know. I'm just not one who can't. I'm not equipped.
I couldn't.
To do
I can't
it.
either.
but good luck and God bless. All right. While some school districts have decided to resume all classes virtually, Scott County leaders are planning to open their doors with more school nurses. The superintendent says nurses will help with temperature checks and be on site for questions and concerns. Dr. Kevin Hubb says with a percentage of students studying virtually, students going to in-person classes will be more spread out, making it easier to socially distance. Hubb believes in-person instruction is better for student learning, but he says if the governor orders schools to go online, he will abide by it. And I think we all agree that in-person is the optimal way to go. I love that Scott County has figured out a way to take some of that pressure off of teachers and school administrators to do temperature checks, to watch out for symptomatic kids. That's why the nurses are there, and I think that's a great idea.
That's going to be the key because the superintendent says they're hiring 6 nurses, 1 for each school. And the issue could be a student comes to school without a fever, but then by 11 o'clock they have one. You need to have that nurse there to be able to work with these students and to be able to help them catch any potential problems.
Absolutely. And take that off the plate of people who are not, in the healthcare field and having to pretend like they are just to have kids back in school. All right. In Washington, Kentucky's Mitch McConnell and other Senate Republicans are releasing some details of their new coronavirus relief bill. With only 3 days left until the extra $600 in unemployment expires for millions of Americans. Last time it was called the CARES Act. This time it's the HEALS Act. It stands for Health, Economic Assistance, Liability Protection, and Schools. McConnell says the content will focus on kids, jobs, and health care.
We have produced a tailored and targeted draft that will cut right to the heart of 3 distinct crises facing our country: getting kids back in school, getting workers back to work, and winning the healthcare fight against the virus.
This bill is just the beginning of the process. Democrats need to sign off on it in order for it to pass, and they're seeking some extra unemployment benefits to continue at $600, but the Republican proposal has it set at a smaller amount. Jen, they're looking at roughly 70% of what your income was before you lost your job and making that part of the package. Democrats are definitely going to be asking for more. This is not set in stone by any means, but there is going to be another package at some point.
And that's going to be the big issue, is going to be those unemployment benefits, because come August 1st, those Americans who are getting that $600 a week aren't going to have a check. This has to be passed quickly. Will that happen? That remains to be seen, but it does have $100 billion for schools, K through 12, and colleges to get students back in person, hopefully sometime later this year, but that's also very important as well.
That sounds like a lot of money, but if you think about all the schools and colleges and universities out there, it's really not. It's really not that much.
Democrats say that's not enough. Yep.
Yeah, it might not be. All right, now let's talk a little Kentucky basketball. We've talked about Coach Cal's excitement for this new group coming in, but UK assistant Kenny Payne is focusing on 2 incoming Cats in particular. Payne says he's confident that Wake Forest transfer Olivier Sarr will be eligible to play next season. And he calls Sarr a unique big man who can really change the game, dynamic ways. He can shoot it from 3, shoot it from mid-range. He's good in the post, and he's a really good passer. Payne also has high praise for freshman B.J. Boston, saying there may have never been a player like him in the Calipari era. Payne calls Boston versatile and unique. And my goodness, we've seen some really good players. So if B.J. Boston is unlike any of them, let's go. Let's start basketball right now.
Well, I'm with you. Kenny Payne, he's usually not the one to say, use the hyperbole. So in this case, you have to think he's seen something that leads him to make that observation. He says he's excellent at point guard, playing the 2, playing the 3. He can defend the 4. He's so versatile. And this is Kentucky's first top 5 since 2015. So bring it on. Let's get this season going. I want to see this team.
I know. I really want to see this team, and B.J. Boston in particular. It's just rave reviews across the board. All right, up next on Hey Kentucky.
Absolutely.
The pandemic has come, with the pandemic has come a dramatic drop in reports of child abuse across the state. But we'll learn why that might not be a good thing from an investigative reporter. Stay with us.